Just reading these injury reports, going crazy. Good afternoon. Our afternoon live stream, the first NFL afternoon live stream. Ghost, the last of the year. Man, it is bittersweet. Where did the football season go? Like, what happened?
It flew by, man. It was thanks for having me every single Sunday. That was a heck of a season that we had, and it was a blast, man. This absolutely flew by. I don't know if it's because of quarantine or whatever, but I feel like every second day we were prepping to get back on here every Sunday morning. So
yeah, it's sad to see it go, but we have a 2-game slate. In my opinion, this is like the last week for strategic DFS. Other than that, you're kind of shooting at the hip for the Super Bowl and the Pro. If you even play the Pro Bowl, I don't know. That's God bless you if you do that. But Super Bowl, more of a obviously it's a showdown slate, so not a ton of strategy in my opinion, unless you're playing a ton of lineups. That's kind of been our MO at Win Daily. If you're going to play showdown slates, you probably need to do multiple lineups. So this is what I think the last season of last week of NFL DFS. I hate to see it go, but let's go right into it. The first game, we got Tampa Bay, Tom Brady going to play Aaron Rodgers in a winner-go-home NFC Championship game. What are your thoughts on this one? I think it's over 3.5.
I like the Packers in this one to cover. I think they take it. No, Antoine Whitfield is huge, man. I really want to. I want to pick your brain on that. I was already on Big Bob Tonyan, of course, with Devonte Adams likely drawing blanket coverage all afternoon long. I already had him in my lineup. A lot of double tight end lineups today. That's for sure. But he was in there. Obviously, we're gonna get to Travis Kelce, and I would not make a lineup without Travis Kelce today. But a lot of Big Bob, a lot of Gronk. But now that Antoine Whitfield's out, this double tight end lineup, I just can't get away from it with Robert Tonyan in it.
Yep, I'm 100% the same way. Not necessarily Tonyan everywhere, but again, I made most of my lineups last night thinking that Winfield was going to play because everything I read seemed like he was, good to go. But it looks like he's confirmed out, right? I know that he was just doing warm-ups like a half hour ago, and they said it didn't look good. So that is a big loss for Tampa Bay. I think now the hook on -3.5 for Packers make a ton of sense. But yeah, I think Tanyan's an elite play. What is he? $3,600 on DraftKings. Pull up his player props here. I haven't seen much movement since. It's not like Winfield just plays man-to-man on Tonyan the whole time, but he's going to be he would be a significant factor in that defense against the tight end. Tonyan only has a 3-catch prop for 34.5 yards. I'm sure juice is on the over on that 3 catches, but for such a small slate, we want to provide as much value to you guys as we can, just not DFS. We could also do player props. I think Tonyan should go well over 3 catches. I'll look at the model right now, and we have him for 3.82 catches. So obviously 0.82 is impossible. And Armando, you are not late at all. We pretty much just started. So we like Tonyan over on the catches, and I think double tight end is 100% the play that I'm going with as well. But it's going to be a combination of both. I think in lineups I could fit Tonyan. He's definitely going to be in there with Kelce because that's what, assuming you're doing, right? 100% Kelce.
Yeah, 100% Kelce. No matter what site you're playing on, it's 100% Kelce today.
How funny is that pricing too? On DraftKings, just 8,000, that goes down to 3,600.
It's just like already when people just look at pricing, they're probably like even if you don't know all that much about NFL, you're seeing one guy priced at 8,000 and the next one's 3,600. You're probably like, oh, I probably need to lock this guy in, but it's just the truth. You need to lock in Travis Kelce today.
Yep, that is my 100% rule. If I was making 150 lineups, I would put 142 of them with Kelce, maybe 8 random ones without him in case he got hurt. But either way, I think he's the best play on the board. Just he's a receiver, so I don't really look at him like a tight end. But on the Bucs side, no Antonio Brown. I think Godwin is just way too cheap. 5,400. He'd be a cash game lock for me. I don't think this is a slate you really need to mess with cash games because there's just so little variance. So, do you really want to lose a cash game to someone that rosters like Tyler Johnson or Scotty Miller? To me, it's just I can't lose that way. I'd rather go on a GPP, and if that's what beats me, that's what beats me. I'm cool with that. But you got any love for Cameron Brate or Rob Gronkowski? Because it seems like almost all my lineups are double tight end. I'll tell you that. I want to get a little bit of 3 running back lineups to put a running back in the flex, obviously, but I just can't seem to get off wanting to pay up at wide receiver and have Kelsey. So it really just makes me have to have a guy like Cameron Brate, Rob Gronkowski, maybe Tanyan if I could afford him, just go up a little bit higher. Or then guys like Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson. I do not want to play the latter there, those two. I would rather go with the tight end.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. So, surprisingly, I do prefer Brate over Gronk. I just think with, Green Bay has been improving against the run. If I could kind of throw them a bone there, even though they're still in the bottom tier of the league. Rojo's going to have a day, I think. Even obviously, we don't know what's going on with Bruce Arians. For all we know, this guy might not even touch the field. But I just think he's too talented of a back to keep him off the field today. And I like what Fournette's been doing throughout the playoffs, and I think he could catch a lot of balls in this situation, kind of pick up that James White kind of role that Brady had for years on years in New England. But I really do think that this is a Rojo game for them to kind of control the clock. And in order to do that, I think they're going to need Gronk on the line, with guys like Zadarius Smith and Clark and all these, hefty D-lines that they have. And they're running a bunch of schemes where they, their edge rushers are cutting to the middle and whatnot. So Tristan Wirfs is going to have his hands full on the outside there. And I don't think they're going to put the kid in a bad spot where, he's going one-on-one on Zadarius Smith. I really do think that they're going to keep Gronk on the line for a large part of this game. So it leans me to end up falling on Cameron Brate just by default there. I think they could run a lot of double tight end sets here and just have Brate run those routes and have Gronk stay at the line.
Yeah, 100%. This is also something funny too. I always like to look at other DFS like websites like outside of FanDuel, DraftKings, just to see where the market's at and pricing some of these guys. And a site Prize Picks, I've kind of I don't want to give them an advertisement or anything, but I kind of like their setup. It's kind of like just player props, but with fantasy points instead, like over under 10 points for Robert Tonyan is a thing today. But Cameron Brate is projected to score more points in their system than Rob Gronkowski, and it's in our model too. So that's good to see. It's all right, am I crazy to have Brate? It's not like we're projecting him for 12, 15, 20 points. It's nothing like that. We're not comparing him to Travis Kelce at all, just for the value in that sake. But we have just what you said, Gronkowski. I have him blocking for over 50% of the snaps, and that's kind of been his MO. I think Tampa Bay knows he is a little bit washed up, but he is still a specimen and a hell of a blocking tight end. He was always a great blocker in New England, but he could run then. And, linebackers couldn't cover him. Safeties couldn't cover him because the size difference in his speed. Now he doesn't have that speed. So I think Brate, if you go look at the routes ran stats out there, if you just Google stuff like that and really get into what these guys do on the field, or if you're a psychopath like me and kind of chart it manually throughout the game, you'll see that when Brate's out there, it's to run routes and to catch the football. And then with Gronk, he's just like a red zone guy now. When he's running routes, it's just in the red zone because he doesn't need to, he doesn't need any speed. He doesn't really need to get open. It's just go box somebody out and high point the football. That's what they try to do with Gronk in the red zone. But throughout the game, that's Brate's job to catch passes in the middle of the field, along with Godwin too. But he goes on the outside a lot as well. So it's good to see that. I just want to give you a little lesson on how I like to go see other prices, not just look at projections for that I do. Go look elsewhere and say, all right, am I crazy here, or what's the deal? And then obviously evaluate it with Vegas player props because those are the smartest guys in the industry. But long story long, I think it's both of you, you and I, are in favor of Brate over Gronkowski, right?
Yeah, I do like it. One thing I will touch on Tyler Johnson, I don't know if he gets there today, but I'm really curious to see what kind of formation Tampa Bay runs. If they're running bunch formations to try and free up Evans away from Jair, and they're going to have Scotty Miller, Godwin all on one side of the field, you could have Tyler Johnson one-on-one on the right side with everybody bunched up on the left. That could be dangerous. The kid's really talented. He's got a wicked pair of hands. So I don't know. It really depends on the volume that he's gonna get. Personally, I don't see him getting the volume that he needs. But if you have a lineup with Tyler Johnson, I don't want to talk anybody off of that either. The guy's arguably one of the most talented players, from a raw talent perspective, on the slate that's there in that $3,000, $3,500 range. When we're talking about all these punts, there's no real separation between guys like Cameron Brate and Gronk and all these three. If you're considering playing Scotty Miller, then you need to consider playing Johnson as well, right? So I'm really curious to see if they try and free this guy up, because if they're running bunches all on the left with Scotty Miller, Godwin, and Evans, all pretty much side by side. They're either going to try and use that formation to try and free up Evans on the screen to get him away from Jair Alexander, or they could just use that as a complete diversion and just throw to Johnson one-on-one on the complete other side of the field. So really curious to see what Bruce Arians has whipped up here.
Yeah, it's to me, and this is great. I love Tulak here from Wayne Daily goes, as the president of the tiny white slot receiver fan club. So if you guys don't know, I can't stand these little dudes that, they're just the annoying guys that practice that, it's your classic gym rat situation. But Cole Beasley and Scotty Miller. For Cole Beasley, I guess it's probably a really good game script for him because just Buffalo hates running the football. And depending how injured Patrick Mahomes is or isn't, I guess the game script could go positively for Beasley if they're chasing points right off the way, but not for me. I think if I were to I'm not making 150 today. I don't like the weird variance in only 2 games. But if I were, I don't think I would have one lineup with Cole Beasley and Scotty Miller together. In fact, I'm not going to have one lineup with Cole Beasley today, and I will not have one lineup with Scotty Miller today. Showdown, anything, I wouldn't touch them. That's, I don't know. I don't want to talk you guys off him if you're on him because Brady does trust Scotty Miller a lot. And that's the thing, like you were talking about Tyler Johnson. It's just we have so much history with Brady. He doesn't throw the ball to guys he doesn't trust. And I don't think Tyler Johnson's ever had more than 2 or 3 targets in a football game before with or without Antonio Brown. Obviously, Antonio Brown wasn't on this team for most of the season, or suspended for most of the season. So that's I'm just not getting cute. If the field is going to get that cute, let's check ownership on Scotty Miller right now. Last I saw last night, it was flirting with 15 to 20%. And if that's the case, you got any numbers over there? I'm trying to.
Right now, I'm seeing him at 5.
Scotty?
Yeah, it plummeted.
Okay, all right, good. Then I don't know what the hell source I'm using for this, but that's what I had him at is 15.
Tyler Johnson's under 1.
Yeah, he'll be.
You have Scotty at just under 5. Everyone kind of passed them. The Demarcus Robinsons, the Lazards, Hardman. Cole Beasley, 40% right now. Oh boy.
Yeah, the hell with that. So, when I look at guys going down to 3K, it's because they're used to going to find a $3,500 starter in regular season DFS. When there's a ton of options, okay, where's my value? The value on this slate is not going to guys like Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller. Go get guys like Robert Tonyan at 3,600, or maybe Cameron Brate. I think Tanyan's a much better play, but their prices are significantly different this week. But there you go. Rant over. Brian here, double tight end with Knox. We'll get to that. I guess let's fuck it. Why even wait? Sorry for the cursing again. But last season of the week, we're not going to hold anything back. Shout out to Waterboy. If you had to rank the tight ends, Tonyan, Gronk, Brate, Knox, everybody outside of Kelsey, just everybody not named Travis Kelsey. How are you ranking them?
Tonyan, Brate, Gronk, and then Knox.
Okay, so I'm with you. I'm the same exact way. I think Gronk has way more touchdown equity than Knox, but we see Knox using the red zone heavily. It's just he doesn't get targeted. So that's where I'm kind of – it's like the tight end's not a part of their offense until they get –
Yeah, his touchdown last week was that Paul Crew longest yard schoolyard bullshit where Josh Allen's trying to run it in, sees 4 guys about to – pancake him, and he's like, okay, let me just throw it up to Dawson Knox, who's chilling in the end zone. I'm I don't know, one target for 3 yards and a touchdown for Dawson Knox is just that will not get me fired up on a slate like this. I rather, at least Gronk, yes, we have him blocking more, and I even like Brate higher than Knox, and Brate over Gronk as well. We already touched on that, but I'll still take Gronk over Knox just at the fact that when Gronk will run a route, we know that there's a significantly higher chance that he'll be targeted versus Dawson Knox.
Yep, I'm 100% with you. Let's talk about these wide receivers in this first game. Devonte Adams, are you on him or off him? He's the most expensive wide receiver. Pretty much a big price discount for him in comparison to weeks past. He's only $8K. I think we've usually been okay paying $9K for this guy. He's just a walking touchdown. He's a walking, A+ catches every single game. But Carlton Davis has been awesome this year, and I don't really don't even look at the last game. I wouldn't even watch the film with Green Bay and Tampa Bay last time because they didn't target Devontae at all because Carlton did such a good job on him. But I don't know. I think we're going to see a different Packers offense. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is on another planet lately to just end the year. He's going to be the MVP of the NFL. He has to be, in my opinion. But you got any love for him? To me, it's I like to be as candid with you guys as I possibly can. He's a great play. He's a safe play. But if you try making a lineup with him, and we've already planted our flag on the Kelsey Island, it sounds like both Ghost and I, every lineup like that is our core play right now is Kelsey. You can't really do it with Devonte Adams. Have you found a build that you liked using those two?
Not at all. Neither side. I tried on both. I don't want to say I'm not playing him because he's not a good play. That would be a lie. And obviously, we're as transparent as it gets in the industry. So I think he smashes today. It's just a pure salary constraint issue for me where I want Diggs in my lineup. I want Tyreek. Yep. I want Kelsey. And I don't mind switching out one of those big two wide receivers in Tyreek and Diggs. I'd rather not. But, it's not the end of the world if you're telling me, oh, don't play Diggs, play Devonte Adams. It's like, okay, like it's, I'm not exactly having a downgrade there at all, let alone a significant downgrade. So I wouldn't mind getting up to Adams. It's just the way that it affects the rest of the build for me. I don't really want to, stoop down into these ridiculous values. And I have the lock button on Kelsey, so that's something that I can't come off of. And I'm not playing one of these quarterbacks in the first game, so that to me is out of the picture as well. Because you could kind of get it done if you pay down at Brady, but for me, it's Mahomes all the way again today. Even with the injuries, I don't care because Josh Allen's coming in even higher on than Mahomes. I thought I was going to see it and put up. I'm like, okay, let me get a bit of a salary advantage by playing Allen over Mahomes and maybe an ownership advantage. That's not the case right now. Allen's coming in higher on than Mahomes, so I'll gladly take the ownership discount as type of move there with Mahomes, and I'm fading Adams simply by process of elimination because of everybody else that I want in my build. I want Mahomes with Tyreek, with Kelsey, with Stephon Diggs. So it just doesn't work for me.
I mean, perfect timing on this question by Jeremy. He was able to get to Diggs, Godwin, Kelsey, and Adams. I would like to know, so going cheap on running back, of course, that just like everybody's cheap besides Aaron Jones. So my guess is he's got to be using Brady or
like I don't even know. Rodgers. Sorry, I don't even know if that fits with Rodgers, and if it does, you're likely playing Tampa Bay defense. So I get it. 2 game slate. You could play defense against skilled position players. We saw it against Steelers and the Browns. Obviously, you're gonna have to have at least some form of skilled position player against your defense. That's okay. Like it's only a 2 game slate. We saw it last year when Houston played the Chiefs. Like anything could happen. Teams could get special team touchdowns, you can get a pick six, whatever. It's a 2 game slate. You can't follow the traditional strategy that we have on 13, 14, 15 game slates. So, but it's just you're playing Rodgers with Bucks D, and then it's like no Tyreek is scary for me, man. This is a guy that can go nuclear today. Like we're talking about a guy that could potentially put up 25 to 30 DraftKings points.
Yeah, just the only worry, I guess, is Mahomes' health. But if they're saying he's good to go, turf toe, whatever, they'll give him some sort of drug that'll get him right. But one thing on Adams, minus 185 to score for a wide receiver, that is insane. That leads the slate. Running back or wide receiver or tight end, Devonta Adams is the biggest favorite to score. We're not, obviously we don't have Derrick Henry in his minus 250 to score or anything like that. But minus 185 to score for Devonta Adams. So again, Ghost and I are not going to tell you that Devonta Adams is a bad play by any means, but for us, it's tough for us to pay there because we really want Tyreek Hill, we really want Travis Kelce. Moving on to any of these value back or wide receivers you like. I like for Mike Evans. I'm not going to say he's a value or anything, but he's going to see a ton of Jair. I just respect Jair too much, and I really like the matchup with Chris Godwin on the inside of the field there, and just how many targets he gets is just insane. I think he's having like drop issues, though. That's the one thing that's kind of pissed me off the last 2 weeks. He's got a lot of drops and key ones. He dropped that touchdown in New Orleans that was huge, but I'm not going to quit on him. I think he's a stud talent. Brady obviously still chucks him the ball all the time. That's who I'm going to go with. I just respect Jair way too much to mess with Evans. I know Jair doesn't really shadow, but he's not going to go to the slot, and that's where Godwin's going to spend most of his day. So that's what I'm on there. Devontae over Reed. Yeah. I'm kind of like I'm with you there, but it's $1,000. It's a lot different.
Like, do I think Devontae outscores Tyreek? Honestly, flip a coin and just run it 150 times and you still won't have your answer. Like to me, it's like it's literally impossible to say who will outscore the other guy, but it's just what it does to the rest of my build. That's where I have an issue with it. Like it's not so much like I want Tyreek. It's not so much like I want Tyreek and he's $800 cheaper than Devontae and I get to pair him with my quarterback. Like it, as much as those things are nice and they make sense to say why I would prefer Tyreek, it's not even any of those reasons. It's mostly just that I don't like what it does to the rest of my build. I have to come off a guy like John Brown to go to Scotty Miller or one of these other guys, or I have to come off Tanyan for, Johnson or something like that. Like it's like it, or I have to come off Mahomes, which I don't want to do. So I don't know. It's tough, but we're gonna have this debate all day long, and the only way we'll find out is at the end of the slate. But I do like the value wide receivers. We were talking about that first game, right? You're talking about Chris Godwin. Jair Alexander is. Anyways, I'm not gonna put myself in that spot. He's one of, if not the best cornerback in the league already, and we've been saying that since we actually covered it in the preseason show, and then we said it week 2. We both said it. We're like, if you don't know who Jair Alexander is, you will by the end of the season. And now he's cemented himself as, we'll play it on the conservative side and say easily a top 3 cornerback in the entire league. So I'm definitely not playing Mike Evans today. That for me, like even without Antonio Brown, I don't want to say I don't care, but it's literally to that point where it's like it never even crossed my mind to play Mike Evans just because of the amount of talent that Jair Alexander has. So I'm with you on the Godwin drops. I wonder if it's like that multiple thumb injuries, like multiple times he's been saying like this thumb is nagging me, and you see it taped up and whatnot. Like a couple times they caught him on camera. He's taking off his gloves and his thumb looks like it's in bad shape. So I wonder if it's that, but he's just too talented. They're gonna scheme this guy on the outside. They're gonna scheme him in the slot. There's no way that they don't let him run snaps in the slot in favor of Scotty Miller all day long. So that just won't happen. So if they keep him on the outside and Antonio Brown is in the slot, okay, yeah, different story. But AB's not playing in this game. They're not gonna scheme their offense around Scotty Miller instead of Chris Godwin. So I expect him to get some snaps in the slot, and realistically, it only takes one big play for Godwin out of the slot. So I do prefer him over Evans. Evans is not even he wouldn't even be in my player pool today at all. We have to take some stands on these 2 game slates, and realistically, he could go berserk. It's just one of those spots where exactly like what you said. I respect Jair Alexander's game way too much to end up playing Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. You like anybody? Yeah, it's the Godwin. Godwin's a lock for me. Kelsey, Godwin, 2 my core right there. You like any of these Packers punts like MVS or Lazard? I guess they're not a punt, but Lazard broke the slate for the most part last week. I'm off them both. I'm not getting that cute. If anything, I'll play a little bit of MVS and like 150 max. Single entry, I'm not playing them. Again, my value week is to not pay for dump value.
Yeah, so if I was... Yeah, exactly. Like I'm with you right there. Like single entry, there's no chance. Like it wouldn't even be a conversation for me if I was building my lineup there for a single entry. And a 3 max, even then, I don't think I'd get there. If you're running 150, I would probably get shares of both. But I do lean MVS, especially with Whitfield out. Like we understand the drops, we understand he doesn't run the cleanest routes, but this is a game where like you could see it on SportsCenter tomorrow, a 75-yard touchdown bomb in the snow. Like it's vintage Aaron Rodgers, man. Like I don't know, I could definitely see that happening where he'll keep going back to him. Like even though he drops it or whatnot, just the risk reward is too great to pass up, especially with Adams being like pretty much hugged up at the line, and they're gonna try and take Devonte Adams completely out of this offense. So I'm expecting Tanyan in the mid-range game, and I really do think MVS runs a ton of deep routes in this spot. And it only takes one.
Like
that's what I like about a player like that. If I'm punting a guy like that, I don't want Alan Lazard saying like, oh, I hope he puts up Devonte Adams type stat lines. Like that, I don't want to put myself in that situation. I'd rather go with a guy like MVS where it's like, okay, I need one play for this to pay off. I need one 75-yard touchdown. Whereas Alan Lazard is like, okay, you need him to get 6 to 8 catches. You need him to get these, 20 to 25-yard intermediate routes where that's Devonte Adams' bread and butter. So it's like, I don't want to put myself in a spot where I'm expecting Alan Lazard to do Devonte Adams things. I rather, if I'm punting a guy like that, similarly to McCole Harmon, it takes one big play with these guys for them to pay off.
Yep. Let's go on the running back here. We got John's question too. What about Fournette? I think Fournette's the hot hand there, but man, if it's impossible to understand what Bruce Arians is going to do. And then how much run do you think CEH gets? I don't think CEH. His rushing prop came out at like 42 yards today. Hit the under on that hard. But yeah, no idea what to expect with Rojo. That's just who Bruce Arians is. I think we'll see a lot of them, and I think he'll be the goal line back, but we'll definitely see Fournette in the passing downs and all that. It'll just be a weird 50-50 split for both because they're both pretty good and they're playing at a high level right now. That's my Tampa Bay running back situation. Aaron Jones, you got any love for him at 70% ownership? 50 to 70 is what I'm seeing.
Hard pass.
Yep.
He could be the only back active, and they'll still find a way to. They'll run snaps with Robert Tonyan in the backfield before they give Aaron Jones more than 70% of the snaps.
Yeah, so, and then Jamal Williams show. I don't think it's the Packers are going to run 3 running backs today. It's going to be heavy Aaron Jones, but you're going to see a lot of Jamal Williams, like Charlie says here. I just won't pay for any of these guys because Singletary's not going to leave the field. I know there's nothing sexy about him, but I'd rather have guys that are on the field. You can't score fantasy points unless you're on the field. And then same with Rojo and Fournette. It's not sexy, but there's only 2 of them. Green Bay, there's 3. It's just I don't want to deal with it, and their pricing's not that appealing to where it's like, Jamal Williams is 3,500 or something like that. Then sure, we're talking then, but not for me. I just don't want to get there. He's 4,400. Devin Singletary's $100 more, and he's never going to leave the field. So that's what I'd go. All right, let's go to Buffalo, Kansas City. What do you got here? Mahomes turf toe is going to play. We don't really know what the concussion situation was, but in my opinion, it looks like he kind of just got choked out a little bit, and it was weird, but he was definitely dazed. And, man, he was on fire to start that game. And what I love so much about that was how much of a game plan. My punt last week was Mecole Hardman, and, man, he was getting the football, and they were scheming plays for him. And then Mahomes goes out, and that's the end of Hardman. So that sucked. It was still a good week, but you hate to see that. What are your thoughts here? Is Hardman back in play? I don't think Watkins is going to play. They haven't said anything. We're probably not going to know till pregame anyway, but I don't want Sammy Watkins. Like, Hardman's better. You saw last week that right off the bat they schemed jet sweeps for him. That weird 4-man screenplay they ran. Like, they know Hardman is the talent. He's a game changer type of guy, just like Tyreek Hill. He's certainly not Tyreek Hill, but Sammy Watkins isn't fooling anybody. Like, I wouldn't play a lineup with Sammy Watkins, and if he's in, it would be a little bit of a downgrade to Hardman, but that doesn't scare me at all. If his ownership just goes down because Watkins plays, then I like Hardman even more, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're both of us will always be Team Mecole Hardman. That's for
Someday
sure.
It's going to pay off.
We drafted him season-long leagues. We stuck to it. One day, no matter when it happens, he's gonna go absolutely berserk. He's gonna have like a Will Fuller type stat line, like one of those 240-yard games, 3 touchdowns, and we're gonna say, see, we just have to wait it out. So you got to trust the process there. But no, all jokes aside, I do like Mecole Hardman in this spot. It was nice to see how involved they were getting him and getting him involved early too. That was something that was really nice. I don't know if they did it to kind of open up Tyreek, because those are the issue with Mecole Hardman is that a lot of those plays that they were running, you could give it to Tyreek in that exact spot, and he does it even better, obviously, for very obvious reason. So that's the one thing about Mecole Hardman. Like, we're we get fired up for a Mecole Hardman jet sweep. A Tyreek Hill jet sweep is an 80-yard touchdown to the house. So it's like, that's where I always have my concerns with Hardman, but the raw talent is just too great to pass up in that spot, especially when we're talking about the same guys, Scotty Miller, Alan Lazard, MVS. Like, I want Hardman or I want MVS because it only takes one big play for these guys. And then on top of that, you saw the volume that he had when Mahomes was healthy in the first half of that game. It's a really great sign there. So I don't mind getting shares of Mecole Hardman for sure. One thing I wanted to touch on, I know we're kind of just moving on to running backs just like that, but 60% Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now? Like, I'm trying to keep my breakfast down as I'm looking at this.
Is that actually true? No one's actually going to play him, are they?
I'm seeing 60% Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If you have the cojones to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 60%, all the power to you.
Holy cow. No, give me Daryl Williams all day.
Thank you. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to say because I wanted you to say before I did because I didn't want to think I was crazy. 60% Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This guy might not touch the field today.
No, the hell with that. Don't do it.
That is the easy. Like we're talking about getting different in 1 to 2 spots. It's a 2-game slate. Everybody's going to be high owned. Like all the main pieces here. We're talking about Diggs. We're talking about Tyreek. We're talking about Kelsey. We're talking about Adams. We're talking about like all these running backs are cheap. Aaron Jones is going to be 90% owned because he's the only guy that's over like $5 in salary. Okay, makes sense. But all these guys are going to be high owned. But a 60% Clyde Edwards-Helaire is probably the easiest fade for me to make on this slate.
Yep, I could not agree with you more.
I'm all in on Daryl Williams. Like I have he's in my main lineup right now.
Okay, well, let's go. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing that people were going to play him. Any love? Let's go Buffalo. Like there's no other running back besides Singletary, right? You're not touching Yeldon Williams. Like, please don't. No, I'm not even going to ask you. I know you're not. So don't do that, guys.
Let's not do that. Please don't do that to us. Don't do that.
Just play Singletary. It's not going to be that sexy, but the weak part of Kansas City's defense is their running game, and this is one of the first weeks I've seen Singletary with a 3.5 catch prop.
You're good. A couple
usually it's 2.5.
It's not going to take much to outscore. We're talking about Rojo, Singletary, Fournette. Those are pretty much the 3 guys that I put in that similar pricing tier on DraftKings. I guess we could include Jamal Williams, but to me, he would be a clear-cut number 4 option there. All you need are a couple screen passes for single. You don't need Singletary to break the slate. You just need him to outscore those 3 guys. So if Singletary could outscore Rojo, and Jamal Williams, that for me would be like that. That's literally all you need. You just need him to outscore the other guys around him.
Yep.
And a couple screen passes does that. Based on the volume of the other guys, like a couple screen passes gets Devin Singletary there.
So it sounds like my core 4 to start is Singletary, Kelsey, and who else was the other guy?
Hill and Diggs.
Oh, no, not yet. I haven't decided yet. Oh, Godwin. Yeah, sorry. I haven't had any coffee today. It's weird, too. Usually I have coffee like right away today. I didn't get to it. Yesterday was supposed to be my wedding, like the OG wedding before COVID happened. So obviously had a lot to drink last night. We celebrated, but still single again, though. So I got a whole, Austin Powers, that scene. I'm still single again. Stupid ass rant here. Let's get to some questions. Devonte over Reek. I think it's close. I guess gun ahead. If I had to choose who's going to score more points, it's definitely Devonte because I just don't know what to think about Mahomes. But that is the only 2 quarterbacks I'm playing is Mahomes and Allen. I think a slight lean to Josh Allen because the rushing upside, he's the only rushing quarterback on the slate. Don't have to get too cute about it. Like that's where I want to go, and he's cheaper than Mahomes. But if you're playing Mahomes, by all means, let's go. Like, trust it. If they're going to play him, he's still going to be good. You're just going to get, maybe 10 less rushing yards. His touchdown equity is probably cut in half. So I know our model projects him for 26, but as I push the new one out, it's going to be like 23.5. So honestly, that, again, projections don't mean that much, guys. But I want to lean Josh Allen, I guess, is my QB1. And, Ghost, you know how much I don't like Josh Allen, but he is the right play for me today. I'm
just happy I didn't have to. I'm just happy we didn't have to end the show with you saying, "Okay, now I need to get exposure to Josh Allen." Like at least we already skipped that part. We're already there.
I'm there. Jeff's question here: would you do Fournette and Jones in the same line? Me, no. But you, any different there? I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa Bay runs it 40 times, but I just don't know how you get there because I answer the question as like I know what mindset I have when I'm building the lineups. I have never thought about that build. So maybe, if you're onto something, I get it, but I just don't see Tampa Bay running for 250 and 3 scores, which you kind of need if you're going to use both these guys in the same lineup. I think out Singletary, or if you put Singletary in this group, I think Singletary still outscores more than one of these guys. It's just what combo is the right combo? Is it Fournette Singletary? Is it Jones Singletary? I wish I knew, but I think Singletary is the second leading scorer of this trio.
I'm all in on another running back in that price range where I just can't get there, but it's certainly going to be contrarian. So we're talking about being different on a 2-game slate. It could work.
Daryl.
I don't really see. Yeah, him.
There you go.
I don't really see. I don't really see the path to both of them getting there. There's gonna like at one point, if you ask me right now who's gonna be the goal line back, we could honestly both of us could make arguments for either one of them. But it's a classic Tampa situation where one of them's gonna fumble, one of them's gonna miss a block, and then one of them's gonna get all the goal line work, one of them's gonna get more carries. So it's like I don't see the upside in playing them both. Unless you think Rojo busts out a big run, but then Tampa's still somewhat behind and Fournette's catching balls. Like anything's possible on a 2-game slate. I can't get there because I'm all in on another running back in that price range.
And that's Daryl Williams. Let's talk about him. So we're both 100% off Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What do you like about Williams? I think he's one of the hottest hands on their team. Like, he's been really solid. He catches footballs. He's a good blocker. Why are people not interested in him? He's got a rushing prop at 36 yards, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is all of a sudden more. But I like Daryl Williams a ton. I think he's good. If he's going to be 0 to 10% owned, what the hell, on a 2-game slate? By all means, jam that motherfucker in, guys. Like, that is the play. I'm all in on Daryl Williams now too. Good, not all in, but like 60% in.
Yeah, for me it was.
That's because you talked me into it, but it makes perfect sense. Instead of flipping a coin on, just on Rojo and Fournette, like, go with this guy.
For me, it was. I don't want to say it was an easy decision, but I came to that decision pretty quickly. If you think about the way like Buffalo's gonna play D, and this is by far my favorite part of the show. This is when me and you get to have conversations like this. So the way that
they can't stop the run.
They can stop the run, because if you're playing Tyreek one-on-one, good night, Jim Kite. If you're playing Kelsey one-on-one, like start loading up the plane. It's not happening. So they're gonna have to take so many guys out of the box that if Daryl Williams breaks through that initial front four, he's gone. He's in open field. And he's so shifty in open field for somebody that nobody's speaking about on a slate like this. And it's only a 2-game slate. No one's talking about it. Like, I don't get it. I get Clyde Edwards-Helaire is active. I would be shocked if he gets a volume that everyone's expecting him to, especially at 60% ownership. For me, that was an easy fade. And then I saw Williams ownership. I was like, okay, this is the spot for me. They're gonna have to drop back, and you have to respect Tyreek Hill. You have to respect Travis Kelce. Like, and whether Mahomes is 100% healthy or not, he's still one of, if not the best quarterback in the league. So they have to respect that passing offense to the point that Daryl Williams is going to get all the room that he wants to get once he gets past that front four. Then on top of that, we look back at the offseason before Damian Williams opted out. They drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They had Damian Williams coming back. They could have easily cut Daryl Williams or Darwin Thompson. Andy Reid loves both of these guys. And Daryl Williams still got work in the Super Bowl last season, where Damian Williams was a Super Bowl MVP over Patrick Mahomes. Like, Damian Williams put in such great work in that game, and Daryl Williams still got looks. He was still catching balls. He was still out there for blocking plays. Like, this is, to me, is a guy that we're talking about running backs that might not leave the field in Devin Singletary. Daryl Williams might not leave the field if Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If this is kind of like a smokescreen saying, like, we're making him active because Lev Bell is inactive, you have to pretty much make him active, and he doesn't play, Daryl Williams might not leave the field, and that's a running back that's coming in at 10% ownership on the most potent offense in the entire NFL. It's a can't-miss spot for me. If it flops, so be it. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight because I trust that process 10 times out of 10. No matter
it's what. A 2-game slate, and you're getting a starting running back at 10%. On the best offense.
That might not leave the field on the best offense in the NFL. Like, that for me is, I don't know how you pass up a spot like that.
Send me over a DocuSign. I'm going to sign off on that. I need a contract. Let's go. That is, like, I don't understand. I didn't know he was that low owned. That blows my mind. Let's go to work. I love it. So, John, actually, hold on. Justin, that should answer your question right there. We love Williams over CEH, especially in GPPs, man. Again, I think that's all you should play this week is GPPs. And coming from me as a heavy cash game player, I think, that should say a lot. Allen, Singletary, Diggs, Brown, too much Bills. So for me, I don't think normal lineup theory is as important this week. Usually we wouldn't want that many people on one team, but if you're like hell with it, Tampa Bay and Green Bay is a little bit slower pace, and you just want to stack up Kansas City, Buffalo, by all means, use this lineup. I probably will have a lineup like this. I'm just not a big John Brown guy. I don't think he's that good anymore. He's not that hard to cover. It's just if they double cover Diggs, certainly John Brown could beat you on a deep ball. The 11 targets last week is going to be sexy for everybody that's, scrolling through DraftKings and like, all right, game log. They see 11 targets. Oh, play him. Like that definitely has something to do with how chalky players get. So I don't want to buy high on John Brown, if that makes sense. Like his ownership now is up to like 25%. Not crazy high. He is a good value. So if you like that game to shoot out, play him. But for me personally, I think I'm just going to go with Diggs, Allen, and Singletary. Anything to add there? I'm not saying John Brown's a bad play. It's just, to me, if he's going to be that popular, I think I want to get off it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. That I'm pretty much on the same page. It's not a normal day where you're like, okay, let me stack a quarterback with 2 skilled position players and run it back with nobody against my defense. Like it's a 2-game slate. You have to, the process that I know that both of us take and for us it works, is that you have to figure out a core 4 or at least a core 3 that you build around. And then after that, you're looking at 2-way pivots. So when we say that, it's like this duo versus that duo, which one do I prefer? This duo and that duo, which one do I prefer? And you build your lineup like that. Defense would be the last thing that I slot into my lineup, because that's, any one of these defenses could get a pick 6, a kick return touchdown. Like these slates are not the ones where you're like, oh, I need this defense. So pick your defense last. Try and start your lineups with, at least 3 core players, maybe 4 if you can get there and really take a stand if you're confident in that. And then after that, it's just all duos. This guy and that guy versus this guy and that guy.
Yeah, 100% agree. Let's get to a couple more questions. And we already talked about Dawson Knox a little bit. I don't think we're very high on Dawson Knox. If you play him, Lee Smith, oh God. Yeah, I'm a hard pass on everything Buffalo tight end. If you wanted to play Knox, I'm cool with it, but I'd rather get to a guy like, Cameron Brate or Gronk, who's are guaranteed to see at least 4 targets. I think Brate's been a lock for 6 targets the last couple of weeks. I think they're going to use him even more now with Antonio Brown out. That's where I'd go instead of a guy like Dawson Knox, who may just see 2 or 3 targets, and you just pray he gets a touchdown. That's the one thing I don't want to do this week is roster someone where I have to pray for a touchdown. And again, that's like my value is not playing bad value. The guys that you have to pray to get a touchdown this week are going to be, Scotty Miller, most likely, Tyler Johnson, Dawson Knox, Isaiah McKenzie, Gabe Davis. That's up to you, Ghost. You're the Gabe Davis whisperer. If you like him this week, we'll get
his ankle looked really bad yesterday. Not yesterday. Last week, it looked really bad. I think they're downplaying the heck out of that. So I don't know. Yeah, they even activated Kenny Stills. Like to just to put it into perspective, they felt the need to activate Kenny Stills. So
great point. Great point.
I would not play Gabe Davis at all today.
So look at your lineup, guys, and just be like, all right, how does this guy get to, 3.5x his salary? And if I look at Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson, it's like, okay, well, they probably have 2 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. I'm not praying for a touchdown. I'm not investing my money on guys that the only way they smash for me is if they hit a touchdown, unless it's one guy in your lineup, and it's got to be like a flex, because it seems like Ghost and I are really heavy into the double tight end idea this week. Maybe Dawson Knox is that guy, but that's about all I like for this game. Hardman is something I'm very interested in. If, again, Sammy Watkins is out, I'm assuming he's out, so I think Hardman should have, a 5+ target game. He's going to get jet sweeps and stuff, especially if Mahomes is hurt. If you think that turf toe is pretty bad, they're going to get Hardman the ball because he's a guy that can create his own type of space. So that's what I like there. You got any other thoughts on this game? Then we'll get a couple questions and we'll get out of here.
Don't play Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 60% ownership.
That's nuts, man. I literally had no idea.
If I could summarize that game, it's like that for me is the easiest fade on the slate.
Oh, God.
60% on Clyde.
He's getting crazy. Here you go. Isaiah McKenzie for all the millions. There you go. There's a guy that you're praying scores a 40-yard touchdown. Is there even odds for Isaiah McKenzie to score? Let's see what it is. It's the last week. Let's have some fun. What is he? Isaiah McKenzie, 6-1 to score a touchdown. All right. I will put $20 on that, Sia, And then there's
we'll get our shares there. Yeah, we'll get our exposure there. Instead of running a Millie lineup, those Millie makers with 3 trillion people in it, we'll put the entry fee of a Millie maker lineup on him to score a touchdown.
Exactly. There you go. $20 to win, 120. Isaiah McKenzie. I should just pull a 20 out of my wallet and light it on fire before you see it, but now we could at least I'll give you the option of being the smartest man alive if he does score a touchdown today. But yeah, that's how I look at these guys that you're like, oh, Tyler Johnson. Like, do you really want to spend $20 in a lineup to put Tyler Johnson in there? Like, go spend $5 on him to score a touchdown. It's a better investment. If he doesn't score a touchdown, you only lost $5. If he doesn't score a touchdown on DraftKings, you lost 20 because he's going to kill your lineup if he's not scoring a touchdown. Yeah. Those type of guys are that's the theme for my week is avoiding them. All right, rant over. I got about 3 more minutes and I got to build some lineups myself. FanDuel, Ghost, this is you. Josh Allen, Singletary, Darrell Williams, Tyreek Hill, Diggs, MVS, Knox, Kelsey. To me, that just my quick thoughts there. I know you're the FanDuel guy, but now that's 2 guys I'm praying score a touchdown, MVS and Knox. I just want 1 max. But your thoughts. If you like that, the rest is sexy as hell, though. That's a strong line.
I was just going to say try and find a way to get up to Brate. He's only $300 more than Knox.
All right. There you go. Dylan, Packers backs. I know Jay Maurice was asking about that earlier. I saw that come through. No, I'm not going to touch a guy that may only get 5 carries. This is a guy that you're praying scores 2 touchdowns.
Might not even play it on top of that.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get a carry or 2 just to change it up. But no, I don't want anything to do with Jamal. I'm not touching a Packers running back. These are the lowest props I've ever seen on Aaron Jones. He's got a 62 rush yard prop, and he's a plus 105 to score. I know that's pretty much saying even money, but usually when we roster top dog running backs, we want really good odds, really short odds to score. And Tampa Bay is the best running defense in the NFL, so don't get too cute with it. But if you like Aaron Jones, by all means, play him. He's just shown up as the most popular running back on the slate, so Ghost and I are usually just going to be out for that in general. DK single entry, Allen, Darrell Williams, Singletary, Hill, Diggs, John Brown, Kelsey, Tanyan, Packers. That's pretty damn good. I love it.
Similar to mine.
Yeah, that's your lineup. The only thing I don't love is John
really
Brown.
Similar. It's really similar. There's 1, 2.
Run the same lineup.
3 different pieces. One, I don't have John Brown in my lineup.
I would say I love this lineup. Run this again. Do a 3 entry max. Put this in there. Then move John Brown to Hardman. And then take on your third one, move Packers D down to like Bucks D and see if you could upgrade John Brown to Godwin. There you go. Like that. That's a great core you have there. There you go. 3 entry max. Please do that and let me know how it goes. If I'll buy the other 2 lineups in your 3 entry max if you want to do that too, because I think that's a really good core you got.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, those are your lineups. 3 entry max. Allen, Darrell Williams, Singletary, Diggs, Hill, Miller. But that's one punt.
The one thing I know that we go back and forth DraftKings and FanDuel. I would not play Scotty Miller on already. I'm out on DraftKings. But the PPR upside, it's kind of like similarly to Cole Beasley on FanDuel, where it's half-point PPR. That if you think about touchdown equity on Tampa Bay, in no particular order, Rojo has a better chance, Fournette has a better chance, Godwin has a better chance, Evans has a better chance, Gronk has a better chance, Brate has a better chance. Tom Brady might actually even have a higher touchdown equity percentage than Scotty Miller. So that for me, for those reasons, I'm out. Especially on FanDuel, where you to hit the nuts today, you're likely going to have every single one of your guys score a touchdown. Scotty Miller, that just he doesn't do it for me there. I rather take I want the flashiness of McCole Hardman in my lineup if I'm trying to get a touchdown or MVS, praying for that 75-yard bomb.
Yeah, I don't mind this though either way, but again, it fits my mold of you have 1, pray for a touchdown. I don't want any, but 1's okay. Something weird like that's going to win the millie. So if you're playing like a tournament like that, go ahead. But yeah, Dallas Poker, I'm excited for that core. Like, damn, I need to go make my own lineups. Just like that 3 entry max that he's doing. I like that. Hopefully he does that. But That's a really good,
really well.
strong core. Yep.
There's like 3 pivots that you can make, and it's almost the exact same lineup. It's perfect.
All right, Brian. Last question. Let's get out here. A-Rod. That's a ballsy move. You on A-Rod? Like it's perfect for GPP. So I think
I can do it. We said at the beginning of the season, week 1. I'm pretty sure if we went back to watch that show, we said it's 2020. We play rushing quarterbacks in 2020. I'm not playing with Josh Allen and Mahomes on the slate. Okay, Mahomes might not run as much because of his turf toe, but he can easily throw for 404 touchdowns just with that cannon of an arm that he has. So I'm not playing a quarterback from the first game. I can't do it.
I like it for a GPP perspective, Brian. But yeah, to me, it's just Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Just to tell you what I'm doing. That's how I always like to be as honest as possible. But yeah, thank you guys. No, thank you guys. This is awesome. I feel like I want to cry, man. It was such a fun year, the best DFS year, of my life, and so many. Like, I don't even care about my personal success with it. It's all about you guys. Like, seeing how many people, like in Discord, just how strong lineups have become over the couple months of football season. How good everybody's got at building lineups. Whether or not those lineups cash for 10 grand or whatever. I know we had an 18 grand winner last week. Jay the Guru, shout out to him. Just monster lineup. Like, it's not about that. It's about the process. Like Go said, if Daryl Williams doesn't pan out for him today, he's probably not going to have a good day, but he's playing the lowest owned running back on the slate that's likely to see 60% of the snaps minimum for the best offense in football. Like right there, that's his mindset. That's the process that we want to teach. Like more times than not, it's going to pay off. And if it doesn't, like the 1 week it does, it's going to pay for the rest of your year. That's kind of how DFS works. Like you're going to have a couple big weeks. It doesn't matter what you do the rest of the year. As long as you stick to the process, it's always going to pay off for you guys. And we couldn't have had the years that we had without you guys. You motivate us to get better at what we do, and you give us a platform to talk about football. Like that's fucking awesome. Like we get to talk about football. So Ghost, any last words? I just want to let everybody know how appreciative we are of everybody that DMs me. I hope you know that I try my best to get to those. But when it's it's an hour before kickoff, and then you guys give me lineups in here, lineup ideas, and like Dallas Poker just said, like shit, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how he got that lineup. But man, it's so awesome. This is my favorite thing to do in the world, and I love it. So thank you guys so much for helping us grow as professionals in this industry, and helping you get better at DFS. So Ghost, your turn, man.
Thank all of you guys. Realistically, we wouldn't be able to do this without any of you guys tuning in on a weekly basis. So thank you guys. The chat is by far the most fun part. I know both of us get a kick out of that, and we say like, oh, is this idea crazy? And then we see one of you guys putting in your lineup, and then we're like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's not so crazy after all. So the interactiveness between the chat and all you guys tuning in on a weekly basis, we can't thank you enough. And thank you, bro, for having me on every single week. I know that heading into the season, this was something that I was really looking forward to. I know last year I used to work every Sunday, and I used to sneak away and watch the show for the hour before tip. And I was like, man, I really hope I get to be on this year. So thank you, bro, for everything, making everything on Sundays better. It was a heck of a ride. We told everybody we'd do one last ride here on our Sunday. So can't thank all of you guys enough for tuning in on a weekly basis, and let's go out with a bang. I want to see somebody take down some big 6-figure win today.
Hell yeah. And go look at windailysports.com. I will be retired for the next 2 months, getting ready for MLB. But you got Sia, Ghost, Tulak, literally everybody at Win Daily is pretty much active right now. I won't touch NBA, but what you're doing in NBA right now, I'll be at night, I'll be in my bed, I'll just be, what's NBA Discord up to? And it's just shit ton of money being won. I'm like, yeah. I'm not giving in to NBA, but yeah, if you guys like other sports, go check them out. Sia just crushes golf. I know Joel's a strong golf player. Like all these guys do so much strong things right now. So I'll be hitting the lab, getting ready for MLB, getting ready to load up Fulte, the first start of his 2021 MLB season. That's my guy. But thank you guys so much. It was awesome. But go check out every other sport that we have out there. I know like NBA is just amazing right now. You guys are crushing it. So it's good to see that. But for me, I can't do it. No bank for me. And I'm done. I retired. All right. Well, let's go. shout out to everybody. Thank you all again so much, and go check out Win Daily Sports for all the other sports. But it was such a fun year. I hate to see it end, but let's go win big today.